Okay, so there are three common mistakes that people make when putting together their avatar that ultimately lead to failure. I really do not want you making these mistakes, so I'd like to tell you what they are and then advise you on exactly how to avoid them. This is going to speed up your journey to success in creating a killer avatar. Okay, so very first and biggest mistake that you can possibly make when putting your avatar together is not doing it at all or doing it half-assedly. Okay, so a wise man once said that if you want something you've never had, you got to do things you've never done. So if you've never had success with converting cold traffic on Google, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, if you've never had success in creating breakthrough webinars, video sales letters, if you've never had success closing people over the phone, getting people into your mastermind, getting people to attend your seminars, whatever, if you've never ever had really breakthrough success with your advertising wherever you may be applying it, then you really need to get clear on your avatar. So it's a fact. You cannot achieve consistent success in advertising unless you deeply understand who your prospect is. It's just not possible. And even if you get lucky once, that's, anybody can go to Vegas and put all your chips on red 27 and score. That can happen to everyone. But if you want to build a career out of being a professional gambler, then you gotta get clear on the system, the method, the strategy. Well, it's the same with advertising. If you want to generate consistent success, if you want to bounce from one success to the next, and be in a position where you are reliably creating winning advertising, and not just winning advertising, but breakthrough advertising. In other words, if you want consistent success, then you absolutely, unquestionably must deeply understand who your prospect is. Otherwise, you're just not going to have that success, and you're not going to have that consistently. So you must do this, and you must take your time to get it right. You've got to be patient with this process, because when you do get it right, your results will be absolutely explosive. A job well done on your avatar will in fact bring you levels of success and bring you ROIs on your ad spend that will exceed your wildest expectations. So number two, avoid making assumptions. Okay. So I once had a client who started a Facebook group in the paleo diet niche. He'd grown his group to over 10,000 members, but nobody in his group was actually buying anything, and he was terribly pissed off and disappointed and frustrated over it. So I asked him what he was selling, and he told me that he was selling paleo ingredients like paleo pasta, paleo flour, paleo rice, that kind of thing. I asked him why he thought people in his group wanted to buy those products, and my question actually seemed silly to him. So he was like, well, obviously, Caleb, they're on the paleo diet. They need to eat paleo meals, and to make paleo meals, they obviously need paleo ingredients. So his logic was tight. In fact, his logic made perfect sense. But if his logic was in fact correct, then his tribe would be buying, but his tribe was not buying. So there was obviously a flaw in his thinking somewhere. So I gave him some questions to ask his tribe, and his job was to report back to me with their answers. So a few days later, he contacted me, and he was just shocked at what he had learned. And he told me that actually he'd asked all of these questions and learned really amazing stuff. He had learned that people in his group were actually not on the paleo diet. They were thinking about going on the paleo diet, but they didn't know what foods to eat and what foods to avoid. So after discovering this, it made perfect sense why his tribe did not buy the ingredients that he was recommending. After all, why would they buy those ingredients? They wouldn't know what the hell to cook with them. So this is a classic example of how making assumptions leads to failure. Even if those assumptions make perfect sense to you, they are still assumptions. So when it comes to the avatar, we need facts. not assumptions. We need the truth, not our best guess. So when creating your avatar, don't make assumptions. Don't rely on guesswork. Follow the process that I'm about to teach you. Do the work, get the facts, uncover the truth. Believe me, your bank account will thank you for it. The third big mistake is not focusing on urgent problems. So I'm going to give you a quick example of this. So which of these issues is more urgent to solve for a homeowner? So a dripping faucet in the kitchen sink, or a burst pipe in that person's basement that's literally destroying all of their precious possessions. So leaking faucet, burst water pipe in the basement that's destroying all of their precious possessions. Well, obviously it's the burst water pipe, right? Why? Because it's the more urgent problem. The longer you leave it, the worse the problem becomes, and in fact, leaving it unresolved has the most serious repercussions of all. So it's an urgent problem that must be solved, or else there is serious repercussions associated with it. And the longer you wait, the more those repercussions grow. Let's look at another example. So which of these issues is more urgent to solve for a dog owner? A dog who won't sit and roll over, or a dog that barks relentlessly all night long? So obviously it's the barking dog, right? Why? Because in the first case, it would merely be a luxury if the dog would sit and roll over. But you would soon lose your mind, and if you had a 9-to-5 job, you'd probably lose your job if the dog in the second case doesn't stop barking and allow you to get a good night's sleep. So again, one problem is not urgent. The other one is extremely urgent and has very serious repercussions to not getting solved. To hammer this point home, let's use just one more example. So which of these problems is more urgent to solve for a heart patient? Above average blood pressure levels, or an artery that has a 90% blockage and could trigger a heart attack or stroke at any moment? Obviously it's the blocked artery, right? Why? Because one issue does not require urgent attention, while the other one could kill you at a moment's notice. So here's the point I'm trying to make. Not all problems are created equal. Some problems are more urgent than others. Now here's an inarguable fact and an inarguable law of marketing. People are more motivated to buy solutions to urgent problems than non-urgent problems. So people are more motivated to buy solutions to urgent problems than non-urgent problems. In other words, people are a lot more likely to whip out their credit card and buy a solution to an urgent problem than a non-urgent problem. Therefore, your likelihood of creating ads that break sales records will be infinitely greater if your advertising is focused on providing solutions to a prospect's urgent problem. Now, in every niche under the sun, there are prospects who have more urgent problems than others. So your job in researching your prospect is to identify what those urgent problems are, and then build your avatar around those urgent problems exclusively. I tell you this because when you research your prospect, you'll quickly see that there are many problems that your prospects that prospects in your niche have. So many, in fact, that it can be overwhelming, but your job is to quickly categorize what problems are urgent and what problems are not urgent. This will allow you to rapidly identify the exact prospect in your market who is most likely to buy from you. Okay, so if you remember, there's 3 jobs that we have to do here. We have to number 1, identify who the most motivated buyer is. B, we have to discover who that person's, what that person's wants, needs, desires, fears, frustrations, and problems are. And then number 3, we need to create the avatar. So how you identify the most motivated buyer in your niche is you categorize the problems in terms of most urgent to solve. The most urgent problems. We want to go after the most urgent problems in your niche, because those people who have those urgent problems, they are the most motivated buyers. Okay, so this process will allow you to rapidly identify the exact prospect in your market who is most motivated to buy from you. Once you know that, you will have found the keys to the kingdom. That prospect is in fact your golden goose. This is the exact prospect that you want to attract into your business, into your funnels, onto your email list. This is the prospect that you want to attract into your business. So, in summary, do create your avatar and take your time to do it right. Don't make assumptions or use guesswork. Get the facts, get the truth. Build your avatar around the most urgent problem people have in your niche. This, for some, may be considered basic stuff, but it is in reality high-level strategic planning. This is what separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls. It's what separates marketers who are crushing it from those who are failing miserably or struggling endlessly. With all that said, how about we move on to the next video where I outline the exact steps that you must take to actually create your avatar. See you in the next video. Cheers.